I was born in 1935, 16th of August. I was born in Belfast in Northern Ireland, in the Lower Falls area. A lot of poor people around there, and some not so poor, but we all help one another. Someone would know if you had no food, and someone would bring you around a bowl of soup and some bread or something for the children as well. That's the kind of community that it was. Everybody knew everybody else's business in a small street with terraced houses, cobblestones. There was 5 brothers and 4 sisters, and I believe 3 children died after birth. I don't think we were poor. We always were well dressed. Mother seen to that. Mum, Dad were always clean in the house, in the home. People used to say how well dressed we were as children. My grandmother played a part in the bringing up of our family. Yes, so pretty happy childhood, as far as I can remember anyway. I don't think I got a lot of education as a boy, really, in my opinion. But there was some clever people who came out of the school. It was called the School of Saints and Scholars. The girls were upstairs and the boys were downstairs. We had a playground in this school on the ground floor. The girls would come out to play in the playground, and then we were allowed to play in the playground. I remember Dad and me waving from the side of the boat, which wasn't a very posh boat anyway, waving to the family and my mum goodbye. It was fascinating, really, to be on a boat. And going to England. It took us about 8 hours on that boat journey. I remember sleeping on the floor with some other young boys and girls in a corridor. I remember that. I don't think there was many bunk beds in, but I do remember arriving at Hesham Harbour outside of Liverpool, and I thought, what a terrible place this looks. So dilapidated, like, you know, and lots of old sheds. It wasn't a very nice place to arrive. My brother had a job here in Luton, and so I came to work in Luton for him. And that's when I fell in love with Luton, you know. And times were good from then on. The housing estate that I worked on as a plasterer, 20 years of age, I had bought a house. Paid the deposit of £100. They told me afterwards that I couldn't have the house until I was 21 because of the legal side of it. And so therefore, a house stood empty for 12 months. So when the day after I was 21, I went down and signed all the legal documents. And afterwards, shortly after that, I think that was in August, and shortly after that, I asked my girlfriend then, at Christmas time, Christmas Eve actually, would you like to be engaged? And so she was over the moon, so we both got engaged. So I knew what I wanted. I had a house, a trade, good job, liked Luton, had plenty of work. So things were going well for me. So I asked my wife, the following year, would she like to get married? So coming to England really was the best thing that ever happened to me. Just after I got married, I got my call-up papers, and I had to go and be interviewed at the Dole office in Midland Road, Luton. I didn't want to join the army. I didn't like killing or wars or anything like that. There was this chap with his uniform on, his pig cap, sitting behind a big desk. I was scared of my life. And he interviewed me and asked me why hadn't I informed the authorities that I was due for conscription, And I said, well, I was roaming around, working around the country, and didn't have time to join the army or to be conscripted. So he asked me what did I do, and I said I was a plasterer. He said, well, I want to see you back here in a few days' time, 3 or 4 days' time. And I went back thinking, well, I'm going to be conscripted into the army, which I didn't want to. And he said to me, Mr. Crossin, he said, we're very short of plasterers in Luton and around this area. Therefore, you will not be conscripted into the army. And I was so pleased coming out of that place. That man, I felt like hugging him because of the joy that was in my heart, really, at not having to go to war.